Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome on all to Monday Football Monday here on the SB Nation NFL show, sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you will hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. As noted, this is Monday Football Monday. Obviously, it is Monday, March 11th, 2023, specifically here on the SB Nation NFL show. Make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. That's Apple devices, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera. Leave a rating, write a review, or we won't be able to put food on our tables. That's not quite literally true, except it sort of is. You can also watch us on the SB Nation NFL YouTube channel. If YouTube is more your speed, you will see the faces of myself. I'm Ochoa from Blog on the Boys. Steven Serta is filling in for Rachel Prevet. Steven, of course, from Arrowhead Pride. And with me, the two most eclectic members of the SBNation.com crew, JP Acosta and Mark Schofield. Mark, how upset were you with the fact that Oppenheimer won the film award for Best Oscar or whatever?
I was very pleased with it. It was a quality film. I love that Christopher Nolan basically said as he was putting Oppenheimer together that I'm winning. Like he threw everything he had. He threw every actor and actress he had. He put everything he had. This was his like, all right, you're not stopping me. This was his like, Kobe game, his MJ flu game, like wrapped all together in the film world. Because he's like, I'm going to win an Academy Award for this movie. And he did it. And we like when people set their minds to a task, to a goal, and emerge victorious. Having said that, I'm going to take a nice sip here from my lovely drink and listen to JP and you.
JP, do you have any thoughts on Mark's cup that he has offered us? Did you see it? Did you pay attention?
Shout out to the McDonald's cup. Shout out to Dragon Ball Z, RIP, Akira Toriyama. But yeah, the McDonald's cup. My girlfriend and I went the other day. Tried the McDonald's sauce, kind of spicy chili. It's cool, but I don't think it works with McNuggets.
Did you get the cup?
No, we didn't get the cup.
Okay, so just so we're clear here, we talked about this last week. Mark was the first person to send a picture to the group, and he kept the cup, obviously. Good for you, Mark. I sent a picture to the group. I didn't keep the cup, so bad on me. So, JP, you went, and we didn't get a picture.
Didn't get the cup. I think I might have the sauce still.
Again, why didn't we get a picture of anything, though? I mean,
I was hungry. I was ready to eat. I didn't think about taking a photo.
Camera eats first. That's just a general rule.
That's fair.
Especially at McDonald's.
Wow.
That's fair.
Needless to say, we're a little bit disappointed in you, JP. The reigning MFW MVP. We'll see if you are able to take it home today. But I have to say, you're probably starting behind the 8 ball. But it's not my award to hand out. JP, how are you feeling about the Jacksonville Jaguars and their prospects towards keeping Calvin Ridley?
If you would have told me a couple weeks ago that the Jaguars were probably not going to keep Calvin Ridley, I thought you were a little crazy. I'm a little worried now, mainly because I think their plan is to let him hit free agency to kind of skate around giving Atlanta the 2nd round pick. But the problem with doing that is you're not getting the chance to automatically keep Calvin Ridley. You don't get to keep that guy in-house. He can see other offers. Right now, he is the best receiver on the market. So they're going to get a lot of money thrown at him, especially from teams like the Patriots, who are in desperate need of an actual receiver on the outside. So I'm a little worried, but I do think it gets really bad if the Jaguars either can't keep Ridley or don't trade for one of these receivers who got tagged.
You mentioned the Patriots. Speaking of a former Patriot, now a Jaguar, Mac Jones dealt to the team over the weekend for a 6th round pick. And you mentioned free agency's beginning. It is Monday, as noted. The legal tampering window opens for us in real time in about 17 minutes. And because of our schedules, we felt we're going to record kind of in our normal window. We are streaming live, obviously, as well. But it is 11:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to say that one more time so that we don't get tweets or threads about this. If we miss something that happens over the course of Monday or even Tuesday, if you're tardy, it is 11:43 Eastern Standard Time. So we'll do our best to kind of cover the things that have happened that are known quantities. And it's quite possible, since we'll be here for at least 17 minutes, that things happen once 12 p.m. hits. So, Mark, you are our resident quarterback guru. I know that it kept you up all night, the fact that Mac Jones is no longer a member of the Patriots, but maybe Russell Wilson kept you up all night. He already fired off a classic Russ-branded tweet, with Renegade going on as the newest quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Your thoughts on Russ finding a new home before free agency even officially began?
I mean, this is like sort of the ultimate why not deal, I think. And Denver's paying 38 of the 39 million. You're getting a Super Bowl winning quarterback who certainly is not what he once was at the position, but you're getting him for $1 million. It's the ultimate dice roll, and it's a very inexpensive one at that. Best case scenario, he is indeed your starting quarterback. It's an upgrade from what you had at the position last year, and it could be enough to get you into the mix in that division and beyond. We're talking about a team that made it to the playoffs last year with a stapled together quarterback room of Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitchell Trubisky. Wilson's probably an upgrade, even though he struggled the past 2 seasons in Denver. He's an upgrade over that. Worst case scenario, he's one of the league's cheapest backups and a Super Bowl winning quarterback at that. And if somehow, and I don't think this will happen, but if somehow you do have a training camp battle between Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson, and Pickett does enough to win that job, well, great. You've nudged him along. You've pushed Pickett along to a point where he's taken a step forward. So you feel a little bit better about him in that situation. And again, this is all to the wildly inexpensive tune of $1 million. So why not? I think it makes a ton of sense for Pittsburgh. From Russell, hey, you're going to a playoff team from last season. Why not? Wins for everybody, I think.
JP, I saw a tweet earlier Monday morning from Dave Damashek, who does an incredible amount of football and really life content, but is a very noted Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, everybody's saying there's no downside to this, but there is literally a team out there willing to pay him $38 million to not play for them. So that context is necessary, although I do agree with Mark generally that this is kind of an ultimately why not proposition.
Yeah, I think the two offenses that Russ is coming from in Denver and what he'll be stepping into in Pittsburgh are very different in what he's going to be asked to do. Russell Wilson and Sean Payton were not a great fit for each other in terms of what they wanted to do offensively. Russell Wilson is not a quick game buzzsaw quarterback. He is at this stage of his career, he is what he's always has been in terms of being able to throw the deep ball, but now he doesn't have that ability of extending plays with his legs. He has now become you need the run game and the offensive line to be really, really good because he's bad under pressure, and he's not going to run the quick game or pass over the middle. Really, what you're hoping for with Arthur Smith is you get what the Falcons or Titans offenses look like, and you just tell Russ, like, look, you don't have to, again, let's let Russ easy bake. You don't have
Ryan
to
Tannehill.
Yes.
Yeah.
All you got to do is be Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just throw it deep a couple of times. Just make those 2 throws.
And run it a few times yourself. Just a couple. That's all we're asking.
Make a couple of throws, maybe scramble a little bit, and that's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be the head chef. You can be the sous chef here. You don't have to be the guy who's leading everything. You don't have to be the one leading the charge. I will say how this shapes them up draft-wise. I do think they're still going to want to draft a young quarterback. I think Spencer Rattler is a guy that they really like. They could draft him day 2. But in the first round, if Amarius Mims from Georgia is there, they're going to be sprinting up to the board, sprinting up to the podium with that card. I think he is a hand-in-glove fit for the Steelers' offensive line and what they need. They can move Broderick Jones, who played at Georgia with Amarius Mims, from right tackle to left tackle, keep Mims at right tackle, and basically have the Georgia offensive tackle combination that just won them like 2 national titles as your Pittsburgh Steelers starting tackles and Darnell Washington as one of your tight ends. You should be able to run the piss out the football.
A Pennsylvania-based professional team drafting nothing but Georgia Bulldogs. That definitely is going to work out. That's what I was told this time last year, So, hey.
Are you referring to anything else there, RJ?
I'm just a man that notices coincidences. That's really all I am, Mark. That's my greatest skill in life, and it happens to work out in this line of work once or twice a year. Okay, Mark, so let's kind of blitz through things here. Chris Jones got paid, and the reports from all the insiders were worded as if, his agent held them at gunpoint. This was wild, like how much water was being carried there. And you can pick whatever you want to hit here, Mark, but just to, again, catch up. The franchise tagged wide receivers, T. Higgins, has requested a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. Not exactly a shocking development there, but now it's formal. Michael Pittman has a brand new deal with the Indianapolis Colts, so he's not going anywhere. Justin Madubuike of the Baltimore Ravens has a brand new deal, so that's one franchise tag taken care of. Everything else is kind of escaping me off the top of my head. Where do you want to dive in, Mark? It's up to you.
What about the 2 kickers? Greg DeLeg, a new deal. Chase McLaughlin, a new deal down in Tampa Bay. Like, we've got kicker news.
Well, and speaking of, Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield are returning to the Buccaneers, both on brand new deals.
Tampa Bay is getting the band back together. I'm kind of excited about that. I thought it was very interesting that Tampa Bay had like the video ready to go for the Baker deal. Like they dropped this video promo as that news broke. I mean, I'm not surprised that Matabuke and Jones are headed home. Kansas City wants to take a run at the three-peat. No NFL team's done it before. You think about going into the Super Bowl. Was the band's going to break up after this? Reed's going to retire. Kelsey's going to go on tour with his brother and Taylor Swift. Jones is going to get paid elsewhere. It was all going to fall apart. They're getting the band back together. And I think JP deserves some props here. Who basically said this was coming from Chris Jones's perspective. Some props to him. Matabuke coming back had a great year for Baltimore, so I think that's big. But I'm fascinated by Tampa Bay getting the band back together because, as we've said here for over a year now, this is the NFC South. Like, why not? You look around the rest of that division, certainly we expect Atlanta to be better, and they might have a new quarterback in. Again, reminded everybody, it's now 11:50 a.m. Monday morning on the East Coast. We might have a Kirk Cousins announcement in less than 10 minutes. Maybe the Atlanta Falcons look better with Kirk Cousins in 10 minutes, but right now, why not get that group back together? You still got a very good shot at now repeating as division winners in the South.
Well, three-peating because they won it.
That's true. Very true. Three-peating.
So JP, I'll ask you now since we don't know the answer for sure, and we might very soon. To Mark's point, I think we all agree that the Bucs have a massive lead. They probably have the biggest lead on their division, as opposed to except for maybe the Chiefs. Anybody in the NFL. That being said, if Kirk Cousins signs with the Atlanta Falcons or agrees to sign in the next 10 minutes, do the Falcons leapfrog the Bucs in the NFC South?
I'm going to say yes, because I think Atlanta has already shown they have the young talent and the defensive talent. They just haven't had the quarterback. If they had a quarterback that was even marginally good or even just okay last year, Raheem Morris said it, I believe, at the Combine. Mm-hmm. If they had an actual quarterback last year, he wouldn't have that job. So if you think about adding Kirk Cousins to an offense that, while it is not the same as Kevin O'Connell's in terms of the minutia of the offense, it's still a McVay-style system running the same concepts. It'll have different names, of course, but it's still the same bones of the offense. You'll be able to, not only will you be able to have that quarterback, but it also opens up what Atlanta can do at 8 in the draft. You can go take best player available. You can take the best defender. You can go draft another corner. You can do so many different things when you have Kirk Cousins. And now you're kind of open. Now this is really like the chips on the table move in the NFC South, where, like we said, anything can happen. I think the Tampa Bay deal with Mayfield was really good for both sides. Baker Mayfield's average per year puts him right in between Jared Goff and Geno Smith. And it also has a potential out in year 2 if just things don't work. So I think it's a good deal for both sides. Mike Evans coming back is really helpful. I just worry that, Levante David and Devin White are both probably out. Antoine Winfield Jr. is still going to be around. Carlton Davis might be on his way out. They already let go of Shaq Barrett. There's going to be a lot of new faces on the Tampa Bay defense, which is why I kind of say if Atlanta makes the right pick at quarterback with Kirk Cousins, they can leapfrog Tampa Bay in terms of being the favorite in that division.
Mark, this is kind of an interesting episode in that everything could change in fewer than 8 minutes now.
Yep.
Who do you think, predict the future, and we'll hold you to it, your opinion is going to change the most on? Could be positively or negatively in the next 10-ish minutes.
I mean, I do think Atlanta, in the sense that, as JP just walked us through, they just needed competent quarterback play. The only thing that holds me back there is we said the same exact thing about New Orleans this time a year ago. It was, look, they just needed competent quarterback play. They're getting it with Derek Carr. They're going to be great in that division. We saw where it went. But I do think getting Cousins will be big for them. I'm very curious what happens with the two teams that have the most money, Washington and New England. They have an obscene amount of cap space between those two teams, like close to $100 million for both of them. They both obviously need to address the quarterback position, but how much might they have to overpay to get players to come play for them? I think that's been one of the interesting things, talking about Mike Evans. There were a lot of reports that New England certainly wanted to get him up there to play, but didn't want to go. Like, the conversation has changed about the New England Patriots. How much are they going to have to overpay? How much will Washington have to overpay? Obviously, a new ownership group. They got a quarterback situation. They're trying to figure out how much are those teams going to have to overpay to get free agents to come in the door. I think that's going to be a fascinating discussion. And then there's always that team that sort of surprises us. Is a little bit more aggressive perhaps than we thought. I'm wondering who that team's going to be here in the next now 6 minutes?
I think it's Washington, JP. That's my pick personally.
I think my guess is the Arizona Cardinals. I think they have a lot of cap space. They're a really young team with a lot of nice chips on offense. DJ Humphries may or may not be coming back at left tackle. You can see them make a run at the tackle, maybe like Jonah Williams, to kind of help round out that tackle group. We already said maybe they might be a sneaky T. Higgins destination. They do have the 27th overall pick as well. You can trade that pick for Higgins. You can also draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4 and immediately create like 2 transformers on the outside for Kyler Murray to throw to, with Michael Wilson kind of playing the power slot role, and then Trey McBride, who really came on last year at the tight end spot. So that could be really fun. They need a lot of help defensively. Maybe they spend more of that money on defensive guys. You think about the trade rumors around the Eagles edge defenders and Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. They could go to Arizona, where Jonathan Gannon just coached them to the Super Bowl last year. Hassan Reddick had his best year of his career under Jonathan Gannon. So there's a lot of room, a lot of ways that Arizona can go in free agency that'll really help raise the floor of the Cardinals team, because they were pretty fun near the end of last year. I also begrudgingly say the Texans have a lot of cap space and a lot of things they can do to kind of turn up that team as well. They do have to figure out what they're going to do with John Grenard, but you got a lot of leeway now that you have the rookie quarterback deal.
I think it's Washington. I mentioned this to Steven last week on TGI Football. I think, Mark, you mentioned all the cap. They have more cap space than they can conceivably spend. It feels like the big NBA boom when, was it Mike Conley got that stupid contract? You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna, like, they're gonna be able to pay somebody in terms of convincing them to come join them. And I mean, there's a little bit to believe in, obviously, with a new era obviously unfolding. Do we think that it's now 11:56? This is actually kind of fun. I'm glad we decided to do this way. Do we think that there's a new home for a top tier, and I use that term loosely, running back, Mark? Do we think Saquon Barkley has a new home in 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think Houston makes a lot of sense. That's one of the things that I sort of predicted in our 9 free agency.
This is going to be awesome if we just nail all this, and then we're just we
got
all this right. Yeah.
But I mean, you think about it. Look, young team obviously made a very surprising to 2 of the 3 of us run to the playoffs last year, because I do believe one of us nailed that one.
That's correct.
You can play with CJ Stroud. You can play with a young team that has taken that leap forward. They're losing a running back as well in free agency. Houston is, and so I think that would be a nice move. I'm wondering, where do we think Derrick Henry ends up? That's what I am wondering about. But I think
Houston gets one, right? Houston gets one of these tier 1 running backs.
I think it's Barkley.
I think if Houston misses out on Barkley, I don't think they get either. I don't think they get Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry is going to be a Baltimore Raven. It makes so much sense in my head in terms of they need kind of the thunder of that efficient running game to Lamar Jackson's lightning. If it's not Houston for Saquon Barkley, I'd also mention the Philadelphia Eagles. That'd be the most Howie Roseman free agency signing ever.
So he's actually, I don't know if we've obviously been on, the Eagles are being linked to Saquon and Xavier McKinney. So if Howie Roseman were to pay a running back and a safety, that'd be just the funniest.
It would be incredibly funny
for
Howie Roseman specifically to pay a running back and a safety.
Yeah.
Because of all the swings and misses that he has had at that spot. And I mean, Saquon is a better fit for the Eagles offense than Derrick Henry would potentially be. But I think another team that would make sense for both Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley is the Los Angeles Rams. I think if you just want two guys that are going to bring some explosion and in different ways to the Rams offense, and can kind of let Kyron Williams be the lightning to someone's thunder, or thunder to someone's lightning in Saquon Barkley's case, I think that'd be really interesting. I think Josh Jacobs ends up as a Charger. In my head, that just makes a lot of sense. Jim Harbaugh would love Josh Jacobs.
Mark, do you want to get any predictions in? This is the final minute now. This is your chance to, for my Texans thing, forever say you called it.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Wilkins to the Patriots just seems to scream Gerard Mayo to me. Now I'm pairing him with Barmore in the interior of that defensive line. I do like that move. What else? That's the only one I really feel confident about when it comes to the Patriots. Although, are they a sneaky Justin Fields destination?
They have to be at this
I
point.
think they have to be.
It gives them
Yeah.
flexibility in the
It
draft.
gives
too.
them flexibility
yeah.
where they don't have to be locked into a QB at 3 if the one they like, isn't there. And I've read various reports that they like Jaden Daniels and they will trade out if he's not available. That they like JJ McCarthy and they will trade out of 3 if he's not available. So I don't know which quarterback the Patriots like.
All right, there's 20 seconds left, so now's the time. Like, if anybody wants to get anything in and lock it up, you got
JP. What do you got?
I feel like I'm wasting time here. Kirk Cousins is going to be an Atlanta Falcon in like 35 minutes.
35 minutes. No, you got 7 seconds until it's all official and finalized.
Okay, then 7 seconds. I will say
it's 2 seconds at this point. So
Kirk Cousins
Falcon. Okay, the legal tampering period has officially opened in the NFL, and nothing happened yet. How that was super. What a letdown!
What a letdown! Well, as we sort of vamp here, Darren Ravel had the most Darren Ravel tweet of all time in the past 5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell us, sir?
Yeah. He just it's a photograph of a ticket to the Thunder Jazz game that was scheduled for 4 years ago tonight when Rudy Gobert touched all the microphones and COVID shut the world down. And he clearly bought it because it's framed and it has the little label at the top COVID game canceled, NBA, whatever.
It was 4 years ago today, March 11, 2020, when the NBA suspended the season. Okay, we've got our first one. Adam Schefter tweeting out that, or Xing out. I don't call it X, whatever. The Bears are expected to make a major push to land Eagles free agent running back DeAndre Swift. He's expected to be a primary Chicago target with free agency wide open.
Oh, that's a letdown.
Look, I'm just.
It's not even a move. It's just unexpected. Come on.
Well, I mean, I don't think he'd say it if it weren't for real. By the way, interesting. DeAndre Swift, obviously spent most of his career with Detroit, and David Montgomery, flocked. So we're effectively. I know that DeAndre Swift had the 1 year abroad, but we're effectively getting a running back swap among division rivals. That's kind of cool. All right.
It's a letdown.
Okay, give me a grade. Let's go. This is a new. We're on the fly. We're vamping. Grade that move.
It hasn't happened yet.
No, but grade the note. That's the first insider report we've gotten.
It's an F.
Yeah. No,
it's an F for me.
The scale's 1 to 10, Mark. That's the scale.
It's a 1.
Okay.
2.
JP, you gave us a 2. Okay. That's all we got so far. We do have a Tom. No, this is just. I hate that now the tampering can begin legally. Okay, we're all making the same jokes. We don't have to do this every year.
It's still worth it in my mind every single year. It just
but when
the Athletics Diana Rossini just noted the Eagles and Texans are expected to have strong interest in Saquon Barkley. Again, we need something. Give us some meat.
I think Saquon is going to be the first running back off the board, though.
Well, DeAndre Swift was the first one to get his name mentioned, JP. So you pay some respect.
Doesn't count. Saquon and Josh Jacobs are going to be the first 2 running backs off the board.
I mean, I don't think that's a bold take.
It's not, but I'm just saying, I'm getting it out there first.
I mean, it's a boldish take when you've got Derrick Henry out there.
I don't think that's bold at all. I mean, do either?
Well, you're the one who just prompted big news, DeAndre Swift.
Hey, look, I saw that I had a notification, JP. I said big news based on the context of the moment. It's not my fault that he underdelivered. I mean,
you said it was big news. You could have just said it was regular news. That's regular news.
Wow. What a letdown. We're now 2 minutes in, and we've got nothing.
I expected we would already have a Kirk Cousins announcement. I'm very disappointed by this. This is kind of like on election night where they're like, all right, we got our next batch of poll closes in 3, 2, 1. And it's all right, we got nothing.
I think you're the Steve Kornacki of our group.
I am absolutely not the Steve Kornacki of this group. Although I do have a whiteboard. I mean, I can get up over there and start doing some stuff.
Yeah, we're getting nothing here. Diana Rossini noting that Christian Wilkins is a top target for many teams, including the Vikings, Browns, Texans, and Lions per sources. Well, so no Patriots.
0 for 1.
There.
0 for 1.
You're not 0 for 1 yet. Also, I'm not trying to act like being an NFL insider is easy, but what the hell, guys? I mean, we all, expected you to announce moves, not the things that I've read so far could have been legally tweeted before this. You know what I'm saying? Expected, whatever, blah, blah. These aren't breaking news things.
So I do have a quick question outside of the breaking free agent news. Do we think the Bears kind of overshot their market on Justin Fields?
I don't think so right now.
I don't think that they ever thought that there was a big market. I think they're just waiting for the right circumstances.
I feel like they kind of overshot how much they would get for Justin Fields because with everybody needing a quarterback and Atlanta going Kirk Cousins, where is the most realistic like Justin Fields spot? I don't think he's going to go to Vegas because then you're strapping Luke Getsy to Justin Fields again. Washington is going to be right there at 2. New England is going to be there at 3. They can draft a quarterback if they want to. And plus, Gerard Mayo has also already said like they are going to take the highest pick, the best player at the most valued position in sports. That seems to me like they're going to draft a quarterback.
Do you think it's possible that Justin Fields gets trade lanced in that he's traded for as like a developmental project QB2 type dude?
I think that's more likely now. I thought
Right.
in the beginning he'd be traded as a starter, but I feel like that's his best option is to go somewhere where he can be the backup. You know?
Another Schefter tweet: Saints linebacker Demario Davis. This is about nobody. We don't care about restructuring or conversions or bonus money. Know your audience, people. I mean, this is lame.
So Diana Rossini said Miami Dolphins defensive tackle Christian Wilkins is a top target for many teams, including the Vikings, Browns, Texans, and Lions. Per source.
Yeah, we read that. I guess you didn't listen to me, JP. It's okay. You know, you didn't send the McDonald's photo. You didn't listen to me. It's okay.
I'm not the one who said DeAndre Swift was a big move. So
she also tweeted that Xavier McKinney is expected to be a top target for the Packers and the Eagles, but the Giants want to keep him. We knew that though. That those are the teams interested.
It just feels like they're emptying the drafts from last week right now. They're just waiting to get to the good stuff.
I mean, who actually, as we vamp, let me ask this question, Mark. Connor Hughes tweeted out the Eagles and Giants are among the teams interested in Bryce Huff. The Eagles have been connected to everybody so far. But Mark, who ruined free agency so far? Like who was most individually directly responsible for the lack of activity over the first 6 minutes?
Was it Russell? Was it the Russell deal that kind of like kick things back a little bit? I also wonder if, look, all the like discussion the past couple of years as this whole legal tampering period became to be a thing of like all the deals getting announced in the first like 60 seconds of it. I wonder if there was like sort of an edict from the league. Like, can you at least kick it back like 5 minutes? Like, can we not make it glaringly obvious that like this has already been put into place and that everybody in Indianapolis, a prime last week, like did these deals? Can we at least give it 5 minutes? Now we're into 6 minutes, so maybe not. Maybe it was 10 minutes. I don't know. But it does feel like Russell sort of delayed the start. It was like if anybody watched the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Lando Norris, bit of a jump start when the lights went out, but he didn't get flagged for it because the transponders didn't sort of signal that it was a jump start. So maybe Russell Wilson was the like Lando Norris jump start of NFL's legal tampering period.
Not only did I watch the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Mark, I read everything you wrote about it.
Well, I appreciate that. And hey, Ferrari has a young 18-year-old driver. Shout out to Ollie. I mean, imagine doing that. You find out like Friday morning that you're going to be an F1 driver before your first practice. And not only do you qualify inside the top 10, but you finish in points. Like,
also, on the subject of promoting things that we write, the team at SBNation.com, including Mark and JP, have a free agent tracker. We do have these available at every team site. So like at Blog on the Boys, we've got one going on, but that's news that's just pertinent to Cowboys fans. You all, JP, as I understand, are updating it with everything that you need to know in terms of free agent transactions across the entire league.
My notifications just get blown up by Woj. Apparently,
yeah, I know.
I was like, oh, something just happened, and it's the Utah Jazz.
This is lame. I mean, this is kind of a buzzkill. I gotta be honest. You know what I mean? Like, this is like at the party, we were like, let's go. And then like the tap didn't work for the keg. You know what I mean? And we're all just kind of
like somebody's running back out to get a new tap. And meanwhile, we're just like stared at each other.
Like the music's on, but like, we're not really feeling it to start like singing along yet. It's just like, so like, how was class today? You know, it's really awkward. And I mean,
it's very awkward. And people are starting to look around nervously, like thinking about maybe going somewhere else. The hosts are starting to freak out. Like, yeah, this is tough scenes, tense moments.
Now that Calvin Ridley, this is from Jeremy Fowler, JP, is set to be a free agent, the Jaguars and Patriots are expected to make pushes for him. The Titans and Panthers could also be in on the wide receiver market. What's the most like not there, you know, Calvin? Why there? Why'd you have to go there?
The Titans.
Okay.
Without a doubt, like it's the Titans. He could go anywhere else, and I'd be like, okay, that's fine. If he goes to the Titans, I'd actually be really mad.
We're almost 10 minutes in and nothing. What a bunch of frauds. I mean, seriously. I do blame Russ.
Yeah, it's all Russell's fault.
Wow.
So what did everybody do this weekend?
We took my son to see the Easter Bunny. That was cool. The 49ers are re-signing Brandon Allen, so we got that going on. So
woo, we got one on the board.
Okay, great. Give us a grade, 1 to 10.
I mean 3. He's the third string. Well, I'm gonna say.
Wait a second.
I'm gonna say 3 because he's the third string quarterback. We've seen what Kyle Shanahan can do with third string quarterbacks. He's made everybody believe in a third string quarterback. So maybe this is just Kyle Shanahan's Brock Purdy part 2, so we don't have to pay Brock Purdy part 1.
Brock Purdy part 2.
By the way, our congratulations to the Purdys, because I saw that Brock got married over the weekend. So what would you send him as a gift, Mark, as we continue to vamp? Go-to wedding gift. You know what I'm saying? That says a lot.
Candlesticks always make a nice gift, as we learned.
I was going to say gravy boat. That's really cliche. Yeah. Or like a panini press, or.
But I mean, in Brock Purdy's case, I want to get him like a personal shopper. I mean, because those like videos of him like rolling into the stadium dressed like he's going to his like Econ 101 class. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man. We need some better fits.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to get someone else to do it for him.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I would get him a Brandon Ayuk extension.
Ooh.
Well, they're not giving him an Eric Armstead deal. That was the report too, that the Niners will be cutting him. I don't think
which would be incredibly funny. I think the Niners' biggest problem for the last few years, even back to DeMeco Ryans being the defensive coordinator, they don't have an actual nose tackle. And even when they signed Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead are both 3 techniques.
Yeah.
They are built for more getting through gaps to the quarterback as pass rushing defensive tackles rather than stopping the run, which is where they have been pretty bad. It's asking a lot of Fred Warner, who's amazing, phenomenal, but asks a lot of your middle linebacker to try and cover up everything. So I don't think I would cut Eric Armstead, because I think Eric Armstead is still really good. His market is going to be massive. Again, Houston would make a lot of sense. Jacksonville would make a lot of sense. But you got to think maybe day 2, I think Tavondre Sweat from Texas makes a lot of sense for San Francisco if they let go of Eric Armstead. They need an actual nose tackle, and Tavondre Sweat is probably the best nose tackle in the draft. I mean, at 6'4", 366 pounds, that's a hard dude to move. And he shows a little bit of pass rush upside, but he's going to be a built-in run game, run stopper. So I get it, but it also feels like cutting Eric Armstead is the result of odd team building up front over the last few years.
The Bears, this is from NFL Network's Mike Garafolo, have agreed to terms with running back DeAndre Swift on a 3-year, $24 million deal. So that's $8 million a year for DeAndre Swift. We've been kind of curious to see what the running back market's going to look like. A lot of people thought 4 to 6 was going to be kind of the hot range for players. Most of the group. DeAndre had an impressive season last year when he was used, although he's not Saquon Barkley. He's not, obviously, Derrick Henry. Mark, grade the signing and your thoughts on it.
I'll give it like a 7. Maybe a bit of an overpay at the running back position, given what we've seen from the past couple of years. But if you anticipate they're going to be breaking in a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams or whomever they decide to pick first overall, we expect it to be Caleb. I think this is a nice move for a solid running back, and I think he's going to fit with whatever offense they're probably going to try to build. I mean, imagine him standing next to Caleb in the backfield. I think there's a lot of potential there. So I like this move. I mean, I like it that it's actually a move and not just they might want to do this down the road kind of thing. I think it's nice we actually have hard news to talk about.
JP?
I'm going to say a 5. I'm not as big on DeAndre Swift as most people. I think his vision comes and goes, which is going to be interesting in an outside zone offense that Shane Waldron's going to be bringing in. So it's going to be interesting to see how that fit works, but I think he brings a level of explosiveness and juice that Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson both don't have. So it'll be good to have that in an offense where you can get explosives in the run game.
I do think this is an overpay, to your point, Mark, but when you have, or you're expected to have a quarterback on a rookie contract, I mean, does it really matter? Like, right. Do it. Like, go, like, be in. You know what I mean? Like, take advantage.
That's the whole point of the rookie deal. Is that you can slightly overpay or be more aggressive in free agents and build around the rookie quarterback because you're not tied, $48 million a year to your quarterback.
And what I think is interesting is it's so rare that we see competitive teams, obviously with the number 1 overall pick, just because of, how difficult it is to achieve it. And even then, when competitive teams do get it, it's because they trade up and they give up so many assets in the future. So the Bears didn't have to do that. So the Bears are a mildly competitive team. They did have to give up future assets to obviously acquire the number 1 overall pick. And they know ahead of time that they're going to have this rookie quarterback contract. Like, you generally don't get to see teams go in on the rookie quarterback contract until year 2, once that quarterback has proven themselves. Does all that make sense? Like, that's why I'm talking myself into the Bears once again, and I may live to regret it.
So I hate to change the subject here, but Bills left tackle Deion Dawkins just posted on social media. It was good while it lasted. Buffalo, peace sign, peace emoji. Excited for this next chapter of my football career. Wonder if it's okay to eat ranch now.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. No, my first instinct was that they prohibited him from eating ranch, but this is a blue cheese thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a blue cheese thing.
Okay. That's funny. That's a good way to go out.
Yeah.
We all agree the Bills are going to stink relatively next year.
Well, I don't know about stink.
Relatively, yeah. It feels like, I don't want to say the window is closed. You have Josh Allen. The window is still there, but it's closing in a sense. The bill has come due for what they tried to do these past couple of years.
They tried to go all in for last year and got beat at home in the snow by a team that couldn't run the ball. That was probably the end of that Bills era when they lost to Cincinnati last year.
They're saying the 2022 division around.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
That was the all-in year that you talked about. And 2023 was them kind of, I wouldn't say running on fumes, but like clearly, losing steam.
Didn't have the same juice. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got one new home officially. Okay. That's it. I mean, I'm in on the Bears. They're my Texans this year. They're my
Really?
Yeah. I don't know that I'm willing to go as far and say that they'll win the division. I mean, that worked out really greatly.
Does it change dependent on which quarterback they draft?
No.
Like, let's say there's a weird world where it's like J.J. McCarthy, QB1 suddenly. Like,
I mean, that would definitely change some of the calculus, I suppose, or all of the calculus, literally. But
absent that, you're still kind of in.
I mean, how can you not be? Like, and I feel like the DeAndre Swift thing somewhat worked out for the Eagles. Obviously, they didn't have to pay him what the Bears are paying him right now. But Chicago's late run of roster moves have generally worked out. I mean, there's reason to trust them here. They've earned some benefit of the doubt. And so I'm a fan of taking advantage. I'm a fan of getting off the couch and swinging and playing. And at the very least, they're doing that. Like, I respect that more than I respect my team that sits back and does nothing this time of year.
So are we talking about, in terms of the Bears being the Texans, is it teams that were last in their division last year?
I didn't add a qualifier, but I guess team that I'm willing to like ride for harder and deeper than most people are. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, the Bears could totally be cute, but I'm willing to like fight for them a little bit. You know what I mean? So.
Is there a team like that? I don't know if I really have one.
I think other candidates for that could be the Falcons if they don't get Kirk. Because if they get Kirk, everyone will be in on them. But if they get like Justin Fields, the Falcons could be a candidate for that. I think the Cardinals, to your point, JP, if certain things happen, they could be a candidate. The Commanders, if they do spend a lot of money in free agency. Maybe the Patriots, if things go their way, Mark. And I think a lot of people will pretend like they're the only person riding for the Chargers when everybody's going to be doing it.
I refuse to believe in the Commanders until they get a real offensive coordinator. So
that's fair.
I feel like I don't think it's the same, but the Colts are going to be a real sneaky, like they're going to be a real trendy playoff pick before the season because they re-signed Pittman. If they figure out what to do with Grover Stewart and Kenny Moore, that could be a really fun defense, and you'll get the quarterback back. That's actually
and you were sniffing around the playoffs even without Richardson. Now you're going to get him back, and he'll have taken, you hope, a step forward. Yeah, I think the Colts will be a certain trendy pick as we head to the offseason. I want to reiterate for the record, do not let me talk myself into the Chargers. We talked about it last week. You know, if they get a Marvin Harrison Jr., we can't go down that road again.
You said you would if they landed Marvin Harrison.
But I'm reminding you that I don't want to be there. I
You're
really
an
don't want
adult,
to be
Mark.
there.
I'm not gonna hold your hand. I'm gonna let you
No,
walk
you
down
need
the
to hold
rabbit
my
hole if
hand
you
here.
want to.
Like I'm at the point in my life now where I need some hand holding, and a Marvin Harrison Jr. at 5 when the Falcons Arizona sort of trades out of 3 because they're like, look, we're getting a Godfather offer, why not? Yeah, I can't go down that road again.
We're 20 minutes in, and the biggest thing we've been given is DeAndre Swift to the Chicago Bears, getting $8 million per year.
I mean, there's the potential news that Deion Dawkins might be getting cut by the Bills.
I mean, but that's again that information is not something that had to wait until now to happen. That's how I'm grading it. You know what I'm saying? Like that could have happened.
It's a stunning move.
I don't think it's stunning. I mean, because of what they've been doing. You know what I mean? Like this is where they're at.
We're focusing on the wrong thing. The man couldn't eat ranch with his
That's
wings.
a great point too.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I very much don't yuck somebody's yum. If you prefer blue cheese, great. If you like ranch, great. But like, he's now saying that he couldn't eat ranch. Like that's stunning.
I think the Bucks are also going to be a sneaky team to be what the Texans were to me, but in an elevated sense. Like I think people will be picking the Bucks to like win the NFC and reach the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like they've graduated past like just winning the division, if that makes sense. No?
Yeah, I still don't know. Especially if we get Cousins to Atlanta. The calculus does change a little bit.
Are we kind of upset that we don't have Cousins yet?
Very. I thought this was locked. Like I literally thought
I think
12 in 1 millisecond it was going to be boom. Everybody had the tweet drafted ready to go.
Well, didn't Rossini say like it might take like maybe like an hour and a half, maybe?
What could possibly need the extra hour and a half?
The guaranteed money.
I mean, why wouldn't that have been negotiated in the non-legal tampering period?
Because it's not legal yet.
Do you really think that there were no NFL teams talking to one another before today?
They can talk about the interest.
Okay. This is still boring. The NFL let us down. You know what's going to happen when we shut this off in 90 minutes.
Second we end this thing, we're going to get Cousins. We're going to get some crazy
Wilkins.
stuff. Yeah.
We're going to get a trade. We're going to get a trade that like wasn't even on anybody's radar, wasn't even talked about.
Yeah.
Wow.
RJ, what are you hoping, if anything, to see from your Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, last year they were the last team in the NFL to sign an external free agent. So maybe don't be that. Would be kind of goal number 1. But I mean, I've checked out on them. You know, the way they lost to the Packers was like worthy of a lot of demerits that they didn't go about handing themselves. And they are just predictably going to do nothing and rely on the draft. And then they're going to tell us that they didn't draft for need, that they just drafted the best player available, which is going to ultimately, by the way, here we go. Oh no, Deion Dawkins got us. JP, did you see this? Adam Schefter, Bills 3-time Pro Bowl left tackle Deion Dawkins is signing a 3-year, $60.5 million extension. The deal is expected to make Dawkins the 4th highest paid tackle in the league. The old rope-a-dope.
We got God.
Good for
him.
Good for him.
Good for him. Meanwhile, I was starting to talk myself to maybe Deion coming to New England. Guess not.
I was so ready to trade Walker Little for a 3rd-round pick for Deion Dawkins. I was so ready to get that done, get that out the way.
Wow, this was fun.
Oh, that's tremendous. Good for him. Good for him. High fives all around.
This is proof that Deion Dawkins is hilarious.
Yeah,
he rules. Wow.
Okay, but what does this do for them from a financial perspective? Like, I want to see like how this is structured.
Mark is serving as the let's wait for the real numbers, guys.
Yeah. Even if they cut it, they will only save $4 million, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. I'm curious how this deal is structured as well, because again, it's not resetting the market, but it could give them some more cap flexibility. This probably is along the lines of extension / restructuring that allows them to be a little more creative in free agency. They really need to get Von Miller to kind of restructure a little bit.
They already did.
They did that, right?
Yeah, they did that last week. Yeah, it's got to be really awkward for Von to like watch everybody get cut at his expense. You know what I mean? Just like, oh yeah, it's tough. I have a question. Do y'all think that Deion is gonna not eat ranch now. You know what I mean? Like I guarantee.
Yeah, you've kind of locked yourself in now.
That's what I'm saying. Like I do think that if he has like a press conference, somebody will be like the wiseacre that's like, so let's talk about the important thing. Yeah. I don't know why he would not want ranch. I've never heard that expression, Mark, but I like it. I don't yuck what other people yum.
Yeah, don't yuck somebody's yum. I mean, there's obviously some ways you can go with this. I mean, I remember a certain opinion of mine with salsa and Doritos. Like, it's a little bit off. So if you want to fire shots at me over that, that's fine. But like the ranch blue cheese thing, like I can see both points here. I enjoy both. Like,
JP,
I'm not going to yuck.
Pick a side because it's team ranch for me. Blue cheese is a monstrosity.
What?
Ranch. Blue cheese is nasty.
Thank you. Ranch is so good, Mark, that whatever I'm eating, I really don't care about. It really just serves as a vessel to transport the ranch into my mouth.
I mean, look, I get it. Like, I am very much like ranch one, blue cheese two, but there's a window for like blue cheese on wings. I can accept it.
I think you're wrong. Wow. Do we have anything else?
60 seconds ago, you were like, I really like that expression. Don't yuck somebody's yum. And then
I know. I like the expression. I'm above it though.
Don't yuck somebody's yum unless it's blue cheese.
That's a better expression.
Unacceptable.
Like if you're like, oh, I like creamy peanut butter, like not my thing. But you know what I mean? That's your yum. I'm not gonna yuck.
Wait, you're putting creamy peanut butter in that same category?
It's the creamy peanut butter is to peanut butter what blue cheese is to like.
No.
You prefer chunky?
Don't do that.
It's crunchy, not chunky.
Either way, it's bad.
Why would I want peanuts in it's butter? You don't. You'll put.
I'm sorry, y'all are 5 years old and need life.
I'm sorry you like eating gravel.
I'm sorry, Grandpa.
What we do,
Grandpa. You like eating peanuts in the peanut butter.
Do y'all not like peanuts? Do you think that they're where do you think peanut butter comes from?
I like peanuts. They're fantastic. I don't like them in gooey form.
They don't have to be a thing together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine that y'all are wrong here. Like, I won't lose any sleep.
Somebody's yum unless it's blue cheese or crunchy peanut
butter.
Yeah.
I guess we have to start wrapping up here. And then just be super pissed that the big thing happened right when we stopped recording. So Steven, if you could join us, and if you could first of all offer your thoughts on Chris Jones returning to the Chiefs, and second of all, your thoughts on the super enthralling free agency that we've experienced so far, and I guess settle the score on blue cheese and ranch and crunchy and smooth peanut butter, please.
Okay, that's a lot.
Well, I'm also trying to vamp more in case we get some.
You do get cousins, yeah.
So Chris Jones, I think it made all the sense in the world. It was pretty clear after the Chiefs leaked, like L'Jarius Sneed has an opportunity to go negotiate trades and whatever, that the priority was re-signing Chris Jones, and L'Jarius Sneed is the backup, and he can play on the franchise tag if that's what winds up happening, if they don't want to get a trade offer for him. But they are kind of out of cap space right now, so they kind of actually have to move him. So I think that's something to watch. I would be really surprised if he doesn't get traded at this point with the Chris Jones extension. So I think that's something for everybody to watch. A star cornerback could be on the market or get traded. Like hopefully today, hopefully we actually get some action here, because I feel like I don't remember who tweeted it out, but before the window opened, it was like, buckle up. Like, this is going to be the craziest free agency period we've ever seen. And we're 30 minutes into this thing and nothing has happened. So it's very underwhelming, but I'm sure once it hits, it will all hit at once. And then blue cheese, peanut butter. Agree with Mark. I think you guys should grow up and just eat some blue cheese sometimes.
Oh, wow.
It's fine. And yeah, crunchy peanut butter is not good, and nobody voluntarily eats crunchy peanut butter. So I just get the creamy peanut butter.
I do think it's fascinating that on these two subjects, none of us universally agree, because I was ranch and crunchy. Mark was a coward in picking one, and smooth. JP, you were ranch and smooth, and Steven was blue cheese and smooth. So, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Wow. Okay, so the big fish we reeled in was DeAndre Swift of the Chicago Bears. Do you feel proud of that, JP? Do you feel like we did some work?
I feel like we did some good work. I feel
like I don't care what you think, what your evaluation is. I care what Stevens is. That's right. Who's the MFW MVP, Steven?
I am gonna go with you, RJ, because you started reading Dune, and I'm just proud.
Yes.
What?
Let's go.
Must have read
It's
them.
really, it really says a lot about the underwhelming free agency period, because I feel like nobody got a chance to really riff and like go off today. Just unfortunate timing with this.
Man reads 10
craziest free
pages of a
agency
book and he
period
gets
we've ever
MFF MVP. Like what?
Mark, I understand that you're salty. This is a great book. The
You've
power
read 10 pages.
The power of the imagination is in my hands.
Come back to me when you've read Messiah or Children of Dune.
Wow.
I'm mad now.
So would you say, Mark, would you say that Steven is doing you wrong?
Eric, come on now.
JP. You know what, JP? I'm in a good mood because I want MFW MVP. Cars is a decent movie.
You don't believe that.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay. All right. How about this? A Bug's Life is underrated.
Fair. I'll take it.